2 championships on the line,
Bayley gets a title shot,
and a Star Wars and Three Bears reference. Talk about diversity. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
And we begin with Paul Heyman telling us there's only one tribal chief, Roman Reigns, before going on to say he has some news he wishes to share with Cody Rhodes, before inviting him down to the ring. Heyman tells Rhodes that now Roman has the Ula Fala back, he also wants his title back, and will go about it by entering the Royal Rumble, winning, and then going to WrestleMania and fighting Rhodes for the championship. As Rhodes is about to respond, we hear a voice from the crowd. It's Kevin Owens. Owens says things have got worse, questioning why Rhodes shook hands with The Rock, which I think we all were, to be honest.
Yeah.
Adding that if you let Reigns get the title back, you're hurting the entire company. With that said, Cody had heard enough, left the ring and headed for Owens. The two fight on the steps in the crowd and then head off into the concourse of the building. The camera heads back to the ring at this point where Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga have entered, unbeknown to Heyman. As it seems curtains for the wise man, Jimmy Uso runs out for the save and initially does so with the help of a chair. It doesn't last long though as Fatu and Tonga beat up Jimmy, setting him up in the corner with a chair around his neck. Backstage officials try to halt what's happening but have no success. Rhodes then heads back to the ring and does what security couldn't, and that's deal with Jacob and Tama. After the break, we see Tama walk through a fire exit while Jacob continues to argue with security. LA Knight then comes steaming in, pushes Fatu through the fire exit and closes it, then says he has a title to win. If you like what we do, then please give us a subscribe. If you don't, then subscribe anyway.
First match of the night, and it's for the Women's United States Championship. Michin versus Chelsea Green. Green with Niven. Michin on full attack from the get-go, although back from the break we see Green in control, until a back suplex brings Michin back in, followed by a head scissors takedown, drop kick to the corner and then cannonball. The follow-up cover gets her a 2 count. Green then misses a top rope move with Michin dropping Green with the 3 kicks and then heading to the top rope herself. She lands a crossbody on Green, which Green then rolls through and covers Michin while she's pulling her shorts. Green picks up the win, successfully defending her title at the first attempt. Niven enters the ring after the match and sentons Michin. Hopefully Green will have a new challenger after this.
You've had enough of them too now. Move on. We have a clip from earlier next as we see Los Garza, Pretty Deadly, the Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under arguing in the back. Nick Aldis has heard enough and then makes 2 matches. Pretty Deadly would take on Los Garza, with Motor City taking on A-Town.
Next up, Los Garza versus Pretty Deadly. Santos Escobar and Elektra joining Team Garza. Wilson and Humberto start us off with Humberto coming out on top, tagging in Garza with the 2 then double teaming Kit before a pin attempt by Garza gets a 2. Wilson suffers a little more before Prince makes a blind tag, turning things around for PD. We come back from another break to see Humberto tag out. Garza come in, absolutely destroy Wilson and then cover him for 2. Prince from the apron then grabs Angel's hair, driving him down to the mat, allowing Wilson to tag out. Prince climbs the turnbuckle, Elektra argues with the ref, distracting him, while Escobar pulls Prince's legs from under him as he's about to get to the top rope. Humberto tags back in, kicks Wilson off the apron, and then he and Angel double team Prince with the NTY. Humberto then pins Prince for the victory.
I just find that match a bit of a drag. It's
Not bothered.
I'm not into the teams. Anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura defending his United States title next against LA Knight. We trade blows, knees and hits to begin with until we get some excitement from the megastar as he baseball slides Nakamura and then bounces his head off the announcer's table. Back from the break and we're back in the ring, trading blows with Knight coming out on top, slamming Nakamura and then dropping an elbow on him. The follow-up cover gets a 2. The two then fight in the corner with Knight pulling Nakamura away. As he does, Nakamura grabs at the turnbuckle, pulling the protective padding away and of course exposing the metal turnbuckle underneath. We see the usual sliding German suplex from Nakamura before he climbs the ropes.
Knight, wise to this, gets up to him, hits a superplex and covers him for 2. Knight then locks in what I can only say is an inverted Boston Crab. Let us know in the comments if you know what this is called. But Nakamura gets to the rope to break the move. LA then goes for a BFT, but Nakamura gets a spinning elbow on Knight, hits the Kinshasa and then covers Knight. Knight barely gets his foot on the rope to stop the 3 count. Nakamura sets Knight up on the previously exposed turnbuckle, but Knight avoids the impending attack, hits a BFT and covers Nakamura. As Knight covers him though, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga enter the ring beating up Knight. After Jacob hits a moonsault, backup finally arrives in the shape of Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso, who get the better of the Bloodline followers. Nick Aldis heads out looking to send Fatu and Tonga home, but Rhodes pleads with him not to, asking for a tag match. Aldis agrees.
Just making matches up on the spot.
Yeah.
Love it.
Got so much time.
Up next, Motor City Machine Guns against A-Town Down Under. This is the 4th match of the night already, and we're only halfway through SmackDown. No one really takes control here, with both teams making tags as and when they need to. Waller gets double teamed out of the ring, but then comes back in, hits a rolling flatliner on Shelley, and then gets a 2 count. Back from the break, Theory is in and has Shelley in a chin lock. And this is the problem with a longer show. This is my little rant, by the way. The matches are eked out to fill the time, and so we get rest moves. There has to be balance, just like the Force. Short show, moves all the time, not really storytelling, feels rushed. A long show, rest moves, boring, but a story. So how's about a 2.5 hour show, which would be Goldilocks, meaning just about right. Anyway, back to the action.
Theory tells the fans to suck it, clearly a fan of the best era, before tagging in Waller. Shelley gets away from a double team and tags in Sabin, who then goes to work on Waller, drop kicking him from the top rope and then taking out Theory from the apron. Sabin then dives out the ring onto both A-Town members. Down Under regroup, double team Sabin and get a 2 count, which Sabin just about kicks out of. Everyone gets involved with blind tags, quick tags and even more blind tags. But we end up with Motor City Machine Guns hitting Skull and Bones on Theory and then Shelley covering him for the win.
Again, I'm not invested in these two. I'm just really not into the tag at the moment. It's just not doing anything for me. Sorry if you like these teams, but for me, I'd rather see the singles and then some interference or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, backstage we see DIY watching on and not looking too pleased when they bump into Pretty Deadly. Deadly asks them where their help was when they had a tag match earlier, with Gargano saying they couldn't help and there's too much heat on Deadly right now. Gargano tells them they will get their title shot before walking off. Apollo Crews then shows up, that's all he does now, just show up, telling Pretty Deadly they're dumb if they believe what DIY tell them.
Next we see Nia Jax in the locker room with Candice LeRae. LeRae says she saw Stratton head into the ring. Jax wonders what she's going to say, before adding that she should go and congratulate her.
That's nice of her. Back from the break and we have Byron Saxton interviewing Tiffany Stratton in the ring. He congratulates her, with Stratton saying she's better than all our favourites. Tiffany says Jax let her guard down because she thought Stratton was just a dumb blonde, adding she let Jax think that so she could steal her WWE Women's Championship. Naturally, Jax heads out, calling Stratton an ungrateful little ship. Yes, I have self-edited, saying Stratton would be nothing without her. Jax makes her way to the ring, telling Stratton time's up and then asking for her title back. Oh, here, I'll just take it. Bayley then heads out, telling Nia to shut up, laying claim to being the next challenger for Stratton's title. While Stratton ponders this, Naomi and Bianca Belair head out. Naomi says if it wasn't for Stratton, she'd be holding 2 titles right now. So if anyone wants to fight Stratton for the title, they got to see her first. Jax pie faces Naomi, which was funny, saying nobody cares about her before stepping up to Belair. Naomi steps in front of Jax before Jax pushes the tag champs to the mat. Bayley then attacks Jax, with a brawl then ensuing. Stratton has the laugh though by hitting the prettiest moonsault ever on her rivals before exiting the ring. As she heads up the rampway, Aldis heads out, making a fatal 4-way match between Jax, Naomi, Bayley and Belair for right now. They have got some time to kill.
They definitely have. Back from the break, and we do indeed have a women's fatal four-way between Jax, Naomi, Bayley and Belair. The tag champs try to suplex Jax, but she manages to reverse the situation and hit it on them. Bayley then attacks Jax, with the three smaller women then teaming up to deal with her. Jax, though, pushes them away and escapes the ring. The three left in the ring start to circle one another, but Jax pulls Bianca from the ring and throws her into the crowd barrier, leaving Bayley and Naomi to square off. The two exchange moves, pin attempts and hair dye colour before Jax pulls Bayley from the ring, throwing her into the crowd barrier too, before re-entering the ring and powerbombing Naomi. Belair saves Naomi from the follow-up pin.
Belair deals mounted punches to Jax, which Jax takes before delivering a sit-down powerbomb and into a pin for 2. Bayley saving Belair. Now it's Bayley's turn to beat on Jax, going up top to drop the elbow, but Jax gets up to Bayley and sets her up for a Samoan drop, only for the tag champs to regroup and slam Jax down to the mat, who still has Bayley across her shoulders, so essentially a super Samoan drop on Bayley.
Nice.
We come back from the break to find Bayley and Belair teaming up and sending Jax out of the ring. With Jax gone, the two square off, move for move, neither one getting the upper hand over the other. Jax gets back in, levels both, and then gets levelled herself by Naomi. Naomi hits the split-legged moonsault and covers Jax. Jax kicks out on 2. With both women down, Bayley heads to the top rope, dropping an elbow on Jax and covering her. Naomi pulls her off.
Now it's Belair's go. She 450 splashes Jax, covers her and gets pulled off by Bayley. All three women then decide to cover Jax, with the ref having none of it. As the three argue, Candice LeRae runs out and heads over to Jax, who's rolled out of the ring. In the ring, Bayley is double teamed by the tag champs, but then rolls under the ropes to escape, leaving Belair and Naomi on their own. They don't fight though, as they dive out the ring at their respective opponents. Everyone then gets back in the ring trying for a cover, which ultimately no one gets. LeRae then gets involved, pulling Belair's hair. Belair breaks free but inadvertently whips Naomi by mistake with her ponytail.
Oops.
Belair is then dragged out of the ring by Jax, with the two of them then crashing over the announcer's table. Back in the ring, Bayley rose plants Naomi, goes for the cover and becomes Tiffany Stratton's next challenger after picking up the pinfall win over the Glow Machine.
Mm-hmm. Backstage, Cody Rhodes tells Jimmy Uso he knew Roman's challenge for the title was coming before heading off for their match next. As Rhodes disappears, Jimmy is greeted by Carmelo Hayes. Hayes wants beef, Jimmy puts him down, Minnie eats him and walks off.
Nice. We see Byron Saxton next telling Bayley her title shot against Tiffany Stratton will be next week on SmackDown. We also learn that Solo Sikoa will be back next week as well.
See, Solo should have won because what's he coming back for now? He's coming back obviously, but what's he going to do?
Have to wait till
That's why I should have kept the Ulafala and then it could have been a super tribal match.
Yeah.
At Mania
or
something like
Yeah.
that. I know they've probably got things in line for Reigns, but make it a super duper one. Real hype it up.
Mm.
Like loser leaves.
Yeah.
I mean obviously Reigns wouldn't. I mean Solo would come back somehow, but
Obviously.
now it's just Solo's coming back and what? He's been decimated.
Yeah.
He's lost his war.
He'll be even more angry.
Well then what's he going to do? Win it back again? Anyway. Enough of that. Last match of the night, Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso versus Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. The fans chant for Cody as he starts off with Tama. Rhodes gets the upper hand and tags in Jimmy, who tries to take on both Bloodline members but gets pop-up Samoan dropped by Fatu. Back from the break, Tama's in and in control of Jimmy, who then tags in Fatu, who keeps control of the match for the heels. 2 corner hip attacks and cover aren't enough to keep Jimmy down, so Fatu decides to take him to the top rope. Jimmy, though, fights Jacob off, sending him back down to the mat, with Jimmy then hitting a corkscrew off the top rope, knocking the Samoan werewolf down. Jimmy and Fatu both tag out, with Rhodes taking Tama to task, landing a disaster kick and then sending Tama and Jacob to the outside before following them through the ropes with a dive.
Rhodes throws Tama back into the ring and sets up a crossroads, but gets denied as Tama knees him in the head and then DDTs him. Tama covers for 2, Cody recovers. Of course he does.
He's a champ.
And superplexes Tonga off the top rope and then is followed up with an Uso splash from Jimmy. Jimmy had tagged himself in as Rhodes was about to hit his superplex. As Jimmy goes for the cover, Jacob grabs him, so Jimmy slaps him, with Cody following up with a Cody cutter on the werewolf. Fatu rolls out the ring. Rhodes tells Jimmy to go after him, leaving Rhodes and Tama alone in the ring. Rhodes turns towards Tama when he's distracted by Kevin Owens heading out. Rhodes heads out the ring to confront Owens, with the two fighting back up the rampway and into the backstage area. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Jimmy spears and then splashes Tama, covering him for two as Fatu pulls him out of the ring. Tama tags Jacob in, who then bounces Jimmy's head off the announcer's table, throws him in the ring and hits him with an Impaler DDT, and then finishes the job with a moonsault and a cover. The Bloodline 2.0 pick up the win.
We then see Owens and Rhodes fighting their way back out to the arena, heading up on top of some production crates. Rhodes gets some separation from Owens and runs at him, sending the two of them crashing down through a couple of tables. SmackDown goes off the air with the champion and challenger both down and out. It's gone back to being a bit boring again. Matches are too long, and we're back to, I feel, just filling time again. Just because we have it, we need to fill that time. I mean, the last match, great. Why? Because it had about 15 minutes to play out, and I knew that some of that was going to be eaten up by Rhodes and Owens.
Obviously.
At the end. So, less is more. It's an old saying, but less is more.
Definitely. It seems Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are set for SmackDown, with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee covering for Raw. If this is the case, there seems to be no room for Corey Graves at all, which is a shame, really.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him because he would call a move that I'd maybe not seen or heard of, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to write that down, rather than searching around for it. Any comments or views you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and there's a good chance we'll get back to you. Thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.